so they look at anybody who doesn't share their worldview as a bad person. And I think this is what makes it a lot easier for them to try to attack and demonize people. It's because they just basically categorize these people as bad people, bad actors, like they're murderers or something like that. Such man babies, holy fuck, grow up hair. Well, like what I'm saying is that the best way that you can fight against this is by supporting the websites that give you opinions and represent your beliefs. Because at the end of the day, if the websites that are representing your beliefs are the ones that are putting out information that's accurate, they're going to be more popular. You as the customer have all the power. These people don't have any power.
As you can see, many of these industry corpos think that simply referencing Sweet Baby Inc. makes you a terrible person. These sort of people would love to be able to control a specific narrative, and they freak out when that narrative is shattered.
Exactly. That's exactly what's happening.
For DualShockers would defend the article, saying, "The entire drama doesn't sit right with me. I'm a queer writer for DualShockers. My experience working with Callum across different websites for nearly 2 years now has been nothing short of excellent, and anyone calling him a quote-unquote anti-woke grifter knows nothing about him."
Of course.
Unfortunately, DualShockers would eventually capitulate to these angry people in the industry and make an edit removing the mention of Sweet Baby Inc. from their article. So let me know what you think.
So that's the reason. This is the reason why nobody trusts games journalism. It's that everybody understands that what that phrase meant, but we're all trying to like play this dishonest game as if we don't. I think that's really the big issue. Yeah, you let them win, exactly. And if you do let those people win, guess what happens? They're going to keep pushing for it more and more and more. It is extremely fucking common, and I think that's what's happening here.
Think about all that stuff in the comments, and now moving on to the section where we talk about what happened to Mr. Matty Plays. As you may know, he had put out a review that isn't exactly positive of the game, titling it Dragon Age the Veilguard is a big disappointment. That in of itself has already upset a number of the biggest shills for this game. However, things also got a lot more complicated. So the first thing, do you remember how some of the game footage got leaked shortly before the review embargo was lifted?
Sure.
For example, this being one of those clips.
Fruit before it spoils.
I like the cookies better.
Everyone likes the cookies better.
I'll eat the fruit.
So, the Dragon Hunter has a softer side.
The Cune says you take care of people.
So, you're a little Kunari, a little Rivani, and
We've seen
a
this
little
before.
dragon.
Reddit dialogue, yeah.
I get that.
Come on. I should tell my mother how Karash is doing.
Well, Twitter people would go on to take a look at the Rook being used in those leaks, Rook being the player character, and compare it to the Rook that was used in Mr. Matty Plays review, going on to
seems
accuse
like
him of
it's the
breaking
same
NDA
one.
and leaking the game.
Yeah.
More specifically, they would accuse him of leaking that footage to someone else, who then posted it to Twitter and also went on to make a number of racist comments. For example, this tweet saying, "By the way, Mr. Matty Plays broke the Dragon Age NDA and leaked gameplay footage to a friend who happens to have a very racist Twitter account. So yeah, good luck with this one." Another tweet, this one with over 2,600 likes, would read, "Hey cutie, this you from the leaked footage being spread by you or one of your friends, quote unquote. Shame other companies saw who they trusted their content either. Couldn't give it 24 hours to just post a critical review. You bad to show your phobe friend, or was it you directly?" While half that post is incoherent nonsense, we get the...
Yeah. What? It's a schizo post. Yeah, it's a schizo post. What is this?
point. They're upset. Another post,
These
this
are
one with
adults,
over
yes.
2,200 likes, saying, "Mr. Matty Plays insulting the game while also leaking the game to his Nazi friend." Adding,
Anytime that I hear somebody use the word Nazi, I automatically assume that they're a retard. Like, there's a handful of words that if I see somebody use this term, I instantly am like, oh, okay, you're a retard. Like, let's not, there's no reason to take any of this seriously.
look at them side by side and tell me it's not his Rook. This tweet got over 8,500 likes, and it reads, "It's being claimed that a prominent reviewer not only leaked NDA footage under an alias, he then posted a video review of the game featuring an identical custom character. The real insider is back, ladies and gentlemen." So they basically accuse him of not just leaking it to a friend, but instead leaking it himself on an alt. The same person later adding, "Oh, it's so over," and reposting one of the tweets that we already just read. Here's another example with 6,200 plus likes reading, I'm not going to respect the opinion of someone who broke their NDA and gave their phobic friend, quote unquote, game footage to spread around in people's Twitter replies unsolicited.
Here's the thing. Look at this fucking, like, this is like a K-pop stan.
Screw all the way off with that nonsense.
Look. They've got a profile picture of a character in the game. They've got their name is that character of the picture, and then their title, their ad is failed to serve. This is a K-pop stan. You can't look at somebody like this and be like, oh, I wonder what they think. This person's insane. It's got to be, yeah, what are we even talking about here? Yeah, story right. Yeah, it's a PR person. Let's go the way. Yeah, what even is this? It's their entire personality. Yeah, of course, you were never going to expect that. You were never going to respect their opinion to begin with, okay? Let's not pretend like, oh, yeah.
Well, anyone who
sorry. Let's go ahead and believe this person who has their entire identity tied up in a video game who at this time did not even, the video game's not even released yet. Yeah, this is totally, this is a normal person on the internet.
Unsolicited. Screw all the way off with that nonsense. Going on to add, honestly, I'm side-eyeing anyone who takes the review seriously knowing what he did. Can we be serious? This dude clearly has some weird vendetta against the Veilguard.
Do we know? Like, I mean, by the way, it's bad if he leaked NDA footage, right? It's bad. He shouldn't have done that, like, for sure. But, like, why don't people ever want to read what somebody says and then discuss whether what they're saying is accurate or not? I feel like so much nowadays, there's like all of a conversation around the noise. There's just noise. It's like, oh, well, let's talk about who this person is. Let's talk about, well, they're friends with this other person. Like, there's never a conversation about ideas. There's never a conversation about like a element of the game. There's always conversations that are like these like weird virtue signals or basically some form of performative behavior. There's no thinking that's happening here. The guy shared it with his damn editor, part of his team, the one responsible for his review video. It's not a friend. Well, I mean, he just made a mistake by showing it, right? It's really not complicated. Yeah, sure. As I mean by acknowledge that they're right, there's no way it's going to happen. It's a tribal war. It's guilt by association. Yeah, individual thinking is dwarfs. But yeah, it's like nobody's even talking about what the guy said in the video. That's what's so crazy about this, is like people will link a video, nobody will watch the video, and everybody will have an opinion about it. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. It happens constantly. Like I will see clips on Reddit, and it will be a 15-second clip, and half of the comments didn't even watch it. What are we doing? How is this happening? It gets worse, yes.
Soon enough, Matty would address the situation himself in a tweet getting over 9,900 likes. He says, I think it goes without saying, but today has been an extremely hard day.
Yeah.
I really appreciate your patience as I looked into things. First off, I would like to apologize to everyone at BioWare and EA. I have already reached out to them to let them know the truth. We already have plans to sit down and have a conversation about it. That is my gameplay. It was never my intention for clips of Dragon Age to get released ahead of the embargo lifting. I had shared these 2 clips of the game with an editor of mine. It's my understanding that these clips were then taken, shared again, and went down the chain to someone far removed from both of us, who then posted them claiming to be associated with me. So yes, the clips are mine. If BioWare, EA, or any other game company chooses not to work with me over this, then I fully understand and accept that. If you, the viewers of my content, choose not to trust me because you deem me irresponsible with the privilege I was given as a game reviewer, I also fully understand and accept that.
Wow. That's basically fucking, that is the perfect way to say it. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, that's a perfect way to address it. Yep.
With that said, it's extremely important for me to firmly shut down one element of this narrative going around about me. Whoever shared these clips on X with the attached hateful comments and replies is not me. I have no clue who runs that account. They're most definitely not my friend, and they stand against everything I believe in. I am only speculating, but I think whoever took my game footage and tweeted it as if they were connected with me was quite deliberate, as it's an easy way to paint me in a bad light.
Sure.
Beyond any guesses I may have, I would never leak my own footage on an alt and then use that exact same footage in my review.
It's
Said
stupid,
account
yeah.
no longer exists, and it is my understanding that it's because it was reported multiple times following the public ridicule it rightfully received. There's no room for that type of hate.
I don't
It also
even know
needs
what
to
that
be
person
said that I
said.
have not deleted any comments on my review. I believe as a consumer of media, you have a right to call someone out on BS or say what you feel. I do have preset words for my channel filter that fall under racist, homophobic, etc. terms that automatically get caught by YouTube's moderation system, but that's it. I know I can't convince each and every one of you, but I do think you all deserve an explanation. At the end of the day, my circle of trust was breached, and it was my fault for sending a clip in the first place. As a quick...
At the end of the day, it's his responsibility, but it might not necessarily be his fault. I mean, most people that do YouTube videos have an editor for the YouTube videos. Few people like edit and record their own videos just because of the way that, you know, it just takes a long time. And so I actually think that that type of a statement is one of the best ways. Like, this is probably one of the best statements that you could make. Yeah, based response. Absolutely based response. And I think it's fair. Like, I mean, yeah, it was a mistake to have that happen. And it's like clearly bad that it happened. Yeah, sure.
Side note for additional context, the reason why he references his YouTube comments is because a flood of comments came from Twitter accusing him of breaking the NDA during
Sure.
the entire situation. Continuing, he says, I'm deeply disheartened by the amount of people who believe that this Twitter account was me. I don't
Because they're stupid liars. And as soon as they see somebody who they disagree with or who they think is against them, they think that it's totally normal and fair to make up lies about them and damage their reputation. That's what happens, is that as soon as, and this is what the internet does, is they find a way to dehumanize somebody, and then they use that as evidence or like some sort of justification to treat this person like shit. Twitter brain, many people, yeah, I think it's very common.
that blind loyalty, yet it hurts to see just how quickly I was
care about
thrown
the
under
truth?
the
No.
bus. The sad reality of it all is the damage is done, and many people have made up their minds about me.
Exactly.
Since I have started covering...
Yeah, you should never try to, like for me, I've learned that you can never convince people that are ideologists or like ideologues that they're wrong. Like there will be no combination of words that you can tell them that will make them rethink their worldview. And so if you realize that, the only thing that you can do is make them look stupid publicly, because you're never actually going to change their mind. Don't cater to Twitter mob? Yeah, exactly. They use the same logic to cancel you. Well, it sure didn't work. After I came back from my break, you know, my house was cleaned up. I had a number of responsibilities I didn't want to deal with. They're now off my plate. My stream is getting more viewers than ever. All of my YouTube videos are getting hundreds of thousands, if not over 1 million views. So it sure didn't work very well. I'll tell you that.
This game, many angry opinions have fallen in my lap. When I played the preview, I thoroughly enjoyed it and had a chance to interview the game's director, Brain Boosh. In that video, people were sending hate my way because they wanted their opinions heard. Now I have put out my honest and objective review, and people are still unhappy with my personal opinion. It is always...
That's always what it's going to be. It never had anything to do with, like, if you had said the game was great and then the person had posted that clip, they wouldn't have hated you. They would have felt sorry for you that somebody betrayed your trust. The reason why they're hating you is because you said something they disagree with. And they're just using the NDA as an excuse to justify that hate.
It's been my goal to deliver fair, honest coverage of video games and elevate the conversation, not fan the flames. I'm deeply sad that my clips have played into the detraction of a game that, as stated in my review, others may enjoy more than me. Looking at the Open Critic score, I'm glad to see it is that way. It's been a tough cycle for the folks at BioWare, and to know I played a part in the pain of the developer who made my favorite games ever is a regret that I don't think I will ever live down, even if people choose to forgive me. I want to thank my wife, my best friends, and my LSM family who hung with me and didn't lose faith in me. The statements made about my character today have broken my heart into a million pieces. I don't say that so you feel bad for me.
Yeah.
I just feel it's important to give my love to those who willingly stood by me in the face of all this. I know it wasn't easy having your ethics in question just by being in my vicinity.
These people will do anything that they can, and there is nothing that's off limits for them to do. Like, for example, like whenever I've had tons of people talk about like how they were like make jokes about like my mom dying and stuff like that. as like a result of me saying something that they disagree with on stream. There is no like depth that these people won't do. There's no line they won't cross. There's no bar they won't be able to manage to go under. They will always do this. They're just shitty people. That's it. And like, I don't take it personally. I don't get mad about this, really. I just look at it like, okay, this person's just an asshole. Who cares, right? I mean, it doesn't hurt my feelings, really. It's just a dumbass. But at the end of the day, you have to acknowledge that, like, these people, they are bad actors and they are bad people, fundamentally. And what they're doing is they are looking for a person that they can use as an outlet for that aggression. They're looking for a person, like, think about, like, let me think of a good way to say this. Everybody wants to be able to enact violence or enact vitriol and be cruel to somebody and have a moral superiority to it. And I think that's what happens a lot on Twitter. Yeah, they're looking for acceptable targets. They just want to hurt people, though life must be messed up. Yeah, sure. I got bullied in high school, then I bully other people. Well, I think that the best way to deal with that is to call it out and make sure that these people don't feel like there's an ecosystem that supports that behavior. Like, that's really what it comes down to, is that the only way that you can stop these people from doing it is if you indicate to them that it's not popular for them to behave this way. Because these people don't actually have any beliefs. A lot of what they do, they're only doing it for attention and for, basically to look like they're being a good person. So if there are people that look like, oh, wow, this is the wrong opinion, they'll just immediately change their opinion because they don't have any real values other than trying to be accepted. Social shaming works on them? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're weak-minded, stupid people. So the best thing that you can do is to just publicly support things that are against them and publicly not support them and say negative things about them. And this will make them go away because the only reason they're doing it is for clout. And so if they're not getting clout for it, they'll stop doing it. It's really simple.
Lastly, I'm not going anywhere. I will continue to make content about games across Mr. Matty Plays, Retro Rebound, and The Finding 2. I will also continue to pretend I know what I'm talking about when it comes to movies on Retro Rewind. Hopefully I'll see you there. If not,
they use their social validation against them. That's exactly right. I have no problem doing that because I think that these people are, I think that they're bad people, and I think that they're, I also don't think that, like, you have to go and attack them necessarily, but I think that what's better than attacking them is to build something that is more successful and that is more well received, and they will naturally come over to your side anyway because they don't really care about the issue. All they care about is their perception. That's all you have to do.
Thanks for taking the time to read this, and I hope you have a good rest of your day. Stay sexy, stay active, Matty. As mentioned, his tweet here ended up getting just around 10,000 likes, and we can see that a lot of the responses are supportive of his explanation. However, what Matty said about many people throwing him under the bus is also true, and many of the people who did such haven't deleted their tweets after his explanation. Some of them have even doubled down. It really looks like parts of the mob want him to be guilty, perhaps as some sort of payback for his negative review of Veilguard.
That's exactly what it is. That's exactly, yeah, it's literally just that. You can never make people like this happy.
Dragon Age subreddit, we can see top comments like this. Better report them to EA/BioWare. According to Jill or Kala, I don't remember now, they're under NDA to not post spoilers about the game. Even during the review time, they're forbidden to show some spoilery things. I say let EA deal with this jerk. This whole friend is likely just an excuse to leak things from his review copy. I really gotta wonder if his review is positive, if they'd be saying the same things. Back on—
No, they wouldn't be. The only reason they're mad is because he's saying something that they disagree with. There's no actual principle behind this at all. There's no real thinking or anything like that. It's just like they're saying this because he's saying something they don't like. Most of the time, like, this is one thing you have to keep in mind, is that every internet controversy doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't really matter what Mr. Beast does. It doesn't really matter what, you know, happens on, like, I don't know, some, like, random YouTube channel, like, oh, Logan Paul said something that was stupid. Like, nobody really cares about any of this stuff, right? And so if you acknowledge that and you understand it, and you come to the realization that basically every single controversy on the internet, and even like political events, most of them will never actually have any direct effect on the people that are talking about them. You understand that people are only getting mad about stuff to be recreationally offended. This is what they do on the internet. And people like to go on the internet, follow channels that make them mad, and complain about it all the time. It's like a form of like, like fucking self-harm mental illness. And so the way that you push against that is you just simply ignore it. You just ignore it and don't give them any attention. That's it. Recreational offenders, yeah, that's what it is. That's what they do.
On Twitter, other people would respond to Maddie, still upset, saying things like, "Personally, I'm not buying it. Those leaked images came out a while ago. He had to know that was his rook, and he didn't say anything until it was exposed. And all you have to do is look at the comment section of that review to disprove them not feeding the drama about this game."
So like the comment section, like, and this is the logic, right? It's harder to convince a man that he's been fooled than to fool a man. Once a person has made up their mind about something, they will almost never change their mind, even if evidence is presented that directly contradicts what they said. They just won't change their mind because they don't want to acknowledge that they're wrong. Yeah, they dig their heels in. Yeah, exactly. That's it. Like, and this is the way people on the internet think. 90% of Gen Z. No, boomers do the same thing. Like Gen X does the same thing. Millennial. It's a human psychology. It's like just low intelligence human psychology.
Fault in breaking the NDA, but that's not going to cut it. We need an actual apology for the toxicity that's grown in your channel and space.
See, now again, right? You don't actually have it. You don't really care about the NDA. Why would you care about the NDA? You don't work at the company. You don't give a shit about that. All you care about is shitting on somebody who's saying something that you don't like. And people do this a lot with me too. They get mad at my community because like I have a very hands-off approach with like my moderation. I only basically ban people that are breaking the rules on the website that could get me in trouble. I don't ban certain types of opinions generally. Like if somebody wants to say something that's like, perceived as toxic, I think that that's their right to say that. Now there's some things if I just don't like them, I'll ban them, right? Like spamming or something like that. But overall, I let people express whatever viewpoint they want. You don't ban them. You only ban people if they make you mad. Yeah, exactly. Right? But like if somebody wants to have a viewpoint that I don't agree with, I think that's totally fair. Yeah, because you like the views? Well, of course I like the views. But you think I'm doing my YouTube, you think I record YouTube videos and I stream because I don't want people to watch the content? Do you think this is like some kind of like a gotcha? Of course I want people to watch my content. Dove? Yeah, everybody does. Of course.
As a result of your editor,
Absolutely.
and response about how that will be handled going forward.
Yeah.
Name shame that editor. This one simply saying you should never get review code again. One more example we'll take a look at reads, people fawning in the comments and quotes, even though he neither says what will happen to the editor allegedly responsible for the leak, nor addresses the toxicity he's let grow in his community.
See, this is another thing that people criticize me for. And so I feel like I'm kind of shadowboxing this because it's like this is the same thing that people say about me. Is that a lot of people criticize me because they say that, like, my community is extremely toxic. I think in a lot of cases, my community is toxic. It is. I'm the Lich King. Absolutely. But the community is toxic because these are the viewpoints of people. Some people are toxic. They might not share the same viewpoints that you have. That's the real world. There are people who don't like looking at things the way that you like looking at things. And you can call it toxic, that's fine. Totally okay. But that's not going to make them change their viewpoint. So, not toxic specifically, but surely quite stern. Well, that's just the way it is. This isn't an echo chamber. Every stream to an extent is an echo chamber. But what I'm saying is that I let people express viewpoints that other content creators don't let them express. And I'm not sorry, and I'm going to keep doing it. Straight up. Like, if you want to talk about a really contentious, super controversial topic, I let you do that. Because it's not a problem to me. I don't think that that's an issue. Like, I don't... The idea that, like, I should be held accountable for the words that somebody else says, what a ridiculous notion. That's insane. Of course I'm not accountable for the comment that they make on my video. It's crazy. They are. That's their comment. They're typing that. That's the way that accountability is, right? And so, let's go back to medieval diplomacy. Yeah, exactly. Is there anything people can do to realistically change somebody's viewpoint? Oh, I don't know, right? It depends on who it is and what it is. So, like with people, like, for example, like the Mr. Beast thing, there were a lot of people who thought that this earlier, Mr. Beast was like actually just doing it because of like a scam, and it was like all a lie. I explained my viewpoint on why I don't think that happened, and then we move on. Like, yeah, obviously if somebody disagrees in a way that's littered with personal insults and they're being rude, then yeah, they might get banned. But they're not getting banned for disagreeing, they're getting banned for being rude. And so, of course there's going to be people that disagree with things. That's the way that the world works. And trying to silence and censor out any part of a community that you think is toxic because of some imaginary criteria that you've invented, and then, basically demonize somebody else as a bad person because they don't have that same criteria as you, it's like a level of entitlement that is just incredible. And I don't support that at all. Comment, that's not true? No, I think it depends on who it is. Facts change viewpoints, not opinions? No, the best argument isn't an argument. Most people make opinions and decisions based off of emotion and not actual rationality. That's just the way it is. Twitch doesn't think so about your chat. You're responsible for stupid people here? Yeah, no, I am. And we have to ban people if they go over the line. But if they're not going over the line, they're probably not going to get banned. Even if they say something that you think is terrible. Too bad. Too bad. That's their freedom of speech. They can say that's my channel. Yep. You don't like it. You think it's bad, toxic. Go ahead. Fine. I'm still going to let them say it. Keep complaining.
Okay, buddy, there are many other responses that he's getting just like those. And when you take a look at those accounts, they come off like those sort of social media activist types. I find it very amusing how many of them
a social media activist, another term for that, is a person that doesn't do anything that matters. Social media activist, it's like an oxymoron, or like non sequitur.
Tend to be pro-labor, yet they're also the quickest people to cry to corporations and try to get those corporations to take actions against individual laborers. Anyways, that's the situation. Let me know what you think about all of that in the comments. As always, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed my coverage, and if you did, please consider liking and or subscribing to the channel. Appreciate ya, and I'll see you in the next one.
There it is.
Just the other day we were talking...
Well, give me a second. Let me make sure I pause this. So yeah, I pretty much agree with everything that he said. I think it's an extremely common topic where
Just the other day
people say and they paint your audience or like a person's audience as being toxic when that audience has a viewpoint or values that people disagree with. And I think that's what happens a lot. It happens a lot with my stream. And I see it all the time on like Reddit where like people are like, oh, I hate Asmongold's community. You don't hate my community. You hate the fact that I don't silence people that disagree with you. That's what you really hate. And I think that's what happens with a lot of these people. And I'll link you guys the video. This is a very good video. But like when people are talking about this, like I have a lot of opinions because I feel like I get targeted with this stuff a lot. And like you're really getting mad that I'm not censoring and silencing people that you don't like. That's really what it is most of the time. That's why you're respected. Well, some people respect me, some people don't, right? But